Hi there, and welcome back to part 19 of History of Fleetwood Mac Singles. I'm Anita. Today we're going to get into part 3, part 19, section 3, or something along those lines, of the Rock a Little singles. I did 2 videos prior. One was on solely on the single Talk to Me. Second one was I Can't Wait. And this last little bunch that I have, the last 2 singles from the Rock a Little album, which are Has Anyone Ever Written Anything for You, which came out in May of 1986, and Imperial Hotel, which came out September of 1986. So almost a full year, not quite, but almost a full year after Rock a Little came out. I have some interesting singles here. It's a short stack, so this video shouldn't be too long, provided I don't talk too much about everything. I got a little carried away with the I Can't Wait singles because they all had really interesting run times and some just weird little differences, little nuances and such. But these do too. There's just some really interesting pieces in the Rock a Little singles. We're going to start right off with one of the first acetate test pressings that I have. To my understanding, acetate is a different I'm not sure. Somewhere in here, I think I know, but right off the bat, I can't recall. But it seems to me like the vinyl, there's something about the vinyl that's different. Or acetate, it's a completely different structure. But anyway, it is a test pressing of Has Anyone Ever Written Anything for You? I imagine it is what is pressed and then sent to the labels so that they can then make the records from that. This one, it looks like it was dated for test pressing April 24th, 1986, so 5 months before release. By the address and everything on here, it's in Pennsylvania, so it's within the United States, so I would imagine for United States distribution. It's blank on the back. Blank label. I have a couple of these for the last 2 singles, and then I have a couple of these for the 12-inch. When I get into the 12-inch, I have a handful of acetate test pressings, and yeah, so that one is pretty cool. No runtime, just says Anyone Ever. They just stop it there. Stevie Nicks. We already have our catalog number and our record number on there, so I think that's how that gets chosen as well. With the test runs, they put all that information on there, and again, that's what gets sent to the manufacturers, or actually the design layout to make the label, to print the label, then sent to the record manufacturer so it could be pressed onto the wax. So kind of my first interesting cool piece. Really fun to get these when I got them. I came into a seller who had a bunch of this kind of stuff, and I grabbed as much as I could. But ironically, the bulk of what they had for sale, it was test pressings, were all from Rock a Little. And I thought it was minutely suspicious that they had so much from Rock a Little. Since then, I've seen a handful of test pressings that have come out for Belladonna, and all the reissues that have come out in the last 10-15 years. When Belladonna, Wild Heart, those got the deluxe reissues. Tango on the Night, Rumors, of course, Fleetwood Mac White Album, all those got reissued. They had current test pressings, which makes sense. But test pressings from at the time of when the record came out are to me much more interesting. So that one out of the way. Secondly, was kind of again of interest to me. This is the Has Anyone Ever Written Anything for You? Backed with the same thing on the B side, a promotional. And the reason it stands out to me is there is a vocal faded version. Again, there's no side 1 or 2. The vocal faded version is 3 minutes and 59 seconds. We talked a lot about timing on the I Can't Wait singles. And the second side is the vocal LP version, which is 4 minutes and 35 seconds. So a clear 40 seconds off the top here, or it's just mixed differently, I should say. But more interesting than that was the label, which is clearly black and white. Clearly black and white. And I say that that's interesting to me because this is normally, this is normally how they look. Then we saw this one from these. And now with this single, so all three of these are promo records, and all three are distinctly different for the same album. Different singles, obviously, but I just thought that was kind of interesting. And when I saw this one, it's just like it moved away completely. Stevie's singles that were from Wild Heart and Belladonna were all in this light gray. Very few of them even had this kind of darker black on the gray. There's the white fade out, the gray on gray. And then later we got the kind of dark gray in here, black. It really is gray or silver gray. Still gives the cream, but yeah, just kind of strange. But yeah, so that was the... Has anyone written anything for you? US, same B-side, but two different mixes, two different things. So then we get into the US version, and we have this unusual picture. One that we hadn't seen before. Interesting to bring green into the color scheme. It's funny, none of the colors kind of match, but they all go together. It's such an 80s thing. It looks great, but kind of doesn't go together. It's kind of funny. It's the 80s. Backside. And this one had the full vocal, the 4 minute and 35 second, just like the LP. And its B-side is Imperial Hotel. So has anyone ever written anything from a US picture sleeve? Kind of hard to find. This was the last single. Like I said, I don't think this made a dent whatsoever on the charts in the United States. Again, I had forgotten until I was looking at the single. I could picture this in my head, but I'll tell you why later. And I thought it was strictly overseas. I'd forgotten that we got a US release. And funny side story, just because I like to, again, these are also important to me just because of the memories. I walked into a record store. I went to high school in Santa Cruz, California. And since I can remember, since growing up in the valley, Stockton and such, younger, before Santa Cruz, but just my whole life, as long as I can remember, buying records and being able to go places, but certainly finding secondhand record stores, other than like Tower Records, but different things. Going to a secondhand record store in Santa Cruz, and it had just opened, and a guy had about 7 Stevie Nicks picture sleeves, and this was among them, and it was like, had no idea. And this was probably about 88, 89, so well after this had come out. And he had a Belladonna, just stuff I didn't have. I don't think I had one of them. And maybe if he had 9 of them, maybe I had 2, but there were the other 7. And I remember going up to the register. They were like $1 a pop, but at the time, that was dipping into my rent money. And I go up to pay for them, and the guy's like, "Why do you want all this?" And I'm thinking, I'm like, I'm a big fan. It's really exciting to find all these picture sleeves, all these Stevie Nicks, And the guy sells records. And he's like, he just gave me, and I mean, I'm a kid. I mean, I haven't graduated high school yet, kid-ish, and he just kind of berated me. It was kind of it's a weird memory because I was so excited, and I go up to the register and paying the guy who runs the store, who's got this crap for sale, and I'm getting crap from him about making a purchase at a store, and it also had seemed to me, I was trying to really remember it, But it seemed to me like I couldn't afford them initially. Like maybe they weren't a buck a piece. Maybe they're like $4 or $5 or I don't know, something. And I had to like wait to come back and get them. That might have been another story that I'm mixing the two, but I just remember no matter what it was, he gave me so much grief. It was so funny. And I was just like, shut the hell up and sell me these records. And I look back and I have pictures of, because I'm a nerd, and I would like lay out my collection and I would take pictures like in the late 80s, early 90s. And it used to be that I had, in the mid to late 90s, I had probably about 20 45s. And when I'm done showing you this collection, I haven't counted in a long time, but it's well over 450 records that I'll be having shown you. Just 45s. And understand, that's Stevie, that's Lindsay, that's everybody. But at the time, that bulk that I purchased, I mean, that was really an advancement towards my collection. But it's just kind of funny. But this one in particular, it stood out because I was excited about them all. But this one, I'd never even heard that I had no idea there was a single for it. So it was really exciting. But it's kind of funny. Like, how would you have a record store and then like give somebody a ration of crap because they bought? That's just me. Moving on. Has anyone ever written anything for you back with? I think this one is different. This is Canada. This has Imperial Hotel, so we're still on the same thing. Runtime on this is vocal, just like the album, so 4 minutes and 35 seconds. So we're on track. UK, same picture sleeve as US, almost verbatim. Thicker paper, thicker cardboard instead of like paper. Same as on the back. This record says the runtime is 4 minutes, and that's up by a second. So probably just instead of 359, they put 4, or there could be a second variant in there, a 1 second change. I don't think so. I have yet to listen to these. I began listening, which I mentioned last time, to all the I Can't Waits, and that's going to take a while. That's a project I started and I shouldn't have. I should wait till I finish filming all this and then go back and do that, because that's quite the project. But so far we have 2 run times now for Has Anyone Ever Written Anything for You? Is that right? 2 or 3 now. 3 minutes 59 seconds versus 4 minutes, and then the 4:35. So really not that many versions. But Australia, Has Anyone Ever Written Anything for You? With The Nightmare. Kind of reminiscent of was it the Talk to Me sleeves? But it's all purple here instead of the scarf looking thing. We've chosen the red and kind of vanilla yellow or custard yellow. These little things were used as icons on the back, kind of like little bullet points, I should say, not icons, for the songs 1 and 2. And again, this is out of Australia. So the one we had seen, one of the Australian ones, so it's very similar. It's not the same, but it's very similar. Just kind of a different layout. Real nice. And again, this one does not have a runtime for Has Anyone Ever Written Anything for You, but a nice Australian pressing of this. Next we have a New Zealand pressing, a very different label. This is another example that I had mentioned in the past where the record itself does not say promo, but we have that sticker. So you ask yourself, would you consider this a promo? If you are a record collector, do you consider the sticker? So if you were put it in Discogs, would you put this under promo? Or would you just put it under New Zealand, or regular? Because unless it's printed on the record, I don't consider it a promo. I put that on my tag, but It's just a sticker. So, kind of neat. But that is New Zealand. So then, moving on to Imperial Hotel, the last single from Rock a Little. And I have yet another test pressing from that. And again, kind of interesting because there is no, well, this is from the United States, right? But unless they send out two records separately for each side of the 45 that they're making, this would give you the impression that there's an American release of Imperial Hotel. But it's not. And there's nothing on the B side. I guess maybe just all test pressings are one-sided, and so they both get sent. It's the same date as the other one. So two records get sent to somebody so they can make the tags and everything like that up. But it probably would help avoid confusion looking at two separate things instead of constantly having to flip it over. So that was more likely the case. But very nice to have, again, the information, same catalog number, because it is the B side to the Has Anyone Ever Written Anything For You? So nice test pressing of that. Up next is what we call a Holy Grail, a hen's tooth, something else, and exceptionally the rarest record I have in my collection, and that is Imperial Hotel from Australia. This is near impossible to find. It's out there. Most of the time it's out there without its sleeve, which is important because it says Imperial Hotel, clearly making that the A side. The B side of this record is I Can't Wait dub mix. So it's not even like there had been another record I'd shown in the past by Fleetwood Mac where I think it was it was the Gypsy single where they had made Cool Water the A side. It was Jamaican, I think, and Cool Water was the A side and Gypsy was the B side, which was kind of weird. And it said so on the packaging, and I don't know if that was an error or they just decided, hey, it's a neat B side, we're going to make that the A side. Who knows? But this is from Australia and looks very non-error like. It looks completely meant to be, with Imperial Hotel being a single over there with I Can't Wait as a B-side. But yeah, this took me years to track down, and I was really happy to get one. I was happy to get one. It's such a nice, you can see there's a little bit of ring wear, but it's a very, very nice copy. The vinyl as well is in very good shape. But if you see this and you're in a record store, buy it, frame it, keep it, or make good money because a lot of people are seeking it. So yeah, the record is in, there's a couple little marks, but it looks like more like dust marks than scratches. So I'm very happy, very fortunate and blessed to have that. So really nice find. Australia, Imperial Hotel A-side. I Can't Wait dub mix B-side, and rare. So now it's kind of a special one to show to people. So that is it for Rock a Little. That is the icing on the cake being that one. But at the end of this little stack that I have some items that came out. This single was released, I don't have the exact month, but it was released in 1985, and that is Tom Petty with Stevie Nicks singing Needles and Pins. Now, I don't think this came from a record store in California with the sleeve, but I think somebody just had it with the sleeve. Instead, it is a white copy promotional. Same song on both sides. Cost me $1. Sometimes you can't take the stickers off. I hate when they put the stickers on the label. Oftentimes, if you try to remove it, it will tear the label. So sometimes I don't try, or I might have tried on this one. I could have tried here. This one was probably easier to get off. But on a label, it's just probably shouldn't mess with it. Maybe a video, there might be a time when I give you tips, because I have a lot of tips. I have a lot of ways to take care of stickers and such, but that is a pet peeve of mine. Holy Jesus. Don't put a sticker on the record, on the label, on the sleeve. Don't do it, especially on the label. Don't. Please don't do that. Record store people who might be watching. Like that's going to happen. But this is really neat. Great song. An old song. But a great duet between them. So, yeah, I think it probably just came like this, but when I got it at the store, it was housed with this picture sleeve. So, I took it, of course. But the regular sleeve with the record, as it should be. So, needles, pens, and the B-side is Spike. A song called Spike. Tom Petty. And I have another copy of it, because why? It looks different. Also from the US. As you can see, mostly from the B-side. I guess blurry, but Spike and just all the... This is Spike. This is Spike live version. I don't know. It's weird. So, yeah. So 2 copies of that. So, doesn't say live version on this. It does say live version, but real tiny underneath it. But yeah. So 2 Tom Petty singles, and last, I promise. Totally Stevie unrelated, but you know, it's Marilyn Martin. I mean, who's gonna say no to that? Great photo. Great song. And, you know, Stevie Nicks family, right? So Body and the Beat, Backed with the Dream is always the same from the Marilyn Martin self-titled album. Stevie is not on these songs. And the cool thing about this one, too, I just happened upon it one time, it is a promo. Promotional, not for sale. So that wraps up 85, 86, and next up is going to be Tango in the Night. You think I had a stack of stuff for Rock a Little? I got a stack. I mean, boy howdy. There was a lot of records, a lot of, only again, just like 4 releases, 5, I think maybe, for Tango in the Night. But, you know, it was a big seller 20 years after, 10 years, sorry. 77, 87, 10 years after Rumors. So they had, you know, Fleetwood Mac had a resurgence with Tango in the Night. So it was a big deal. 10 years after that, they'd have The Dance, another huge resurgence. So, unfortunately, not much stuff from The Dance, but a lot of stuff from Tango in the Night. So when I come back, we'll delve right into that. And again, thank you so much for joining me. And talk to me in the comments if you have anything to say or you have similar records. Let me know if you have the Imperial Hotel. If you're looking for it, I always try to tell people when I find it, when I see it on eBay. It's often there, but without the picture sleeve, so that sucks. Let me know if you happen to be abroad and it's a common thing. In the United States, Nightbird was a very rare, which I brought up, a very rare single, very hard to find. But I see it all the time. I don't pick it up all the time. I try to. But I do see it often enough. 50 cents or $5. It just ranges. But maybe in Australia, Imperial Hotel is at the, you know, at the Goodwill for a dime. So who knows? But for us here and elsewhere, it's really, really hard to find. So that's it. Thank you again. And we'll see you next time for Tango Night. Everybody have a great night. Bye.